Greetings, fight fans. It's a secret society smackdown that we've been waiting for over 300 years. The Freemasons versus the Illuminati in a battle for world domination. We're talking about it on the channel right now. Hang on just a second. Okay, there we go. That's better. Welcome to the channel. I'm Maynard Edwards, 32nd degree KCCH, Scottish Rite Freemason, and today we're going to discuss the Illuminati. But before we do, take a second and make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that thumbs up icon, and please turn on those notifications so you know when we have new content for you to share. And Masons, we love your shout outs in the comments below. To many people, the Illuminati and the Freemasons are kind of interchangeable terms, and there's a good reason for some of that confusion. But we should level set just a little bit. First, in broad strokes, Freemasonry is the world's oldest fraternity, which finds its organizational origins in medieval stonemason craft guilds. Freemasons use tools and emblems of the builder's trade to teach moral lessons. Though its roots trace to the 14th century, the origins of what we would recognize as Freemasonry today really got started in Great Britain at the beginning of the 18th century. The main idea behind Freemasonry is to make good men better and thereby make the world a better place in the long run. But when we talk about the original Illuminati, we're referring to the Bavarian Illuminati, a late 18th century secret society founded by Adam Weishaupt, a German law professor who believed strongly in the Enlightenment ideals, and he was not a big fan of any kind of religion. His goal was to educate members of the Illuminati in reason, philanthropy, and a lot of secular values, and to grow the group so that they could influence political decisions and basically become a powerful force for good in the world. The only problem was the Illuminati never got any kind of critical mass following. There were only a few thousand members at its peak, and the whole thing pretty much came and went in about a decade. They got started in 1776, and in 1785, the Duke of Bavaria banned all secret societies, and he enforced big punishments to anybody who wanted to join a secret society. Shortly thereafter, the Illuminati went belly up. And just a little caveat emptor here, any modern group that approaches you and says, hey, we're part of the original Illuminati, you give us a few dollars and we can make you rich and famous and become part of the New World Order, it's all a scam. Please just delete those emails. Don't watch the videos that are probably here somewhere on YouTube. And if somebody approaches you on Facebook or social media and says they're a part of the historic Illuminati, it's a complete lie. Just delete that.
Good afternoon and welcome.
What?
I say good afternoon and welcome. Can we release the masks? Just take them off.
So the question remains, why does the Illuminati get lumped in with Freemasonry so often, and those accusations about world domination that get leveled at us all the time? Why do they come for the Illuminati and Freemasons and so on and so forth? Well, to answer that question and give us a little bit more insight is Scottish Rite Grand Archivist, my friend and brother, Arturo de Hoyos, who joins us to talk a little bit more about the Illuminati and Freemasonry.
Illuminati was a quote-unquote Masonic organization, but not really, it was. A professor of canon law at Ingolstadt University named Adam Weishaupt was, for all intents and purposes, the originator of what we consider the Illuminati. And it was a secret society, but he was a person that had Enlightenment ideas. He didn't believe in the rule of the church or other institutions, believed people were capable of self-government.
Yeah, unlike Freemasonry that reveres religion, generally speaking.
Well, yes.
He was, would you go so far as to call him an atheist? But he certainly viewed religion as a superstition.
I don't know that I would say that he was an atheist, but he, like a lot of people of his day, he didn't have a lot for the religions of the day, or the way in which they were run in any case. And so he did create this, or model this organization as Illuminati system, loosely on Freemasonry, and then it gradually became more of a Masonic institution. In particular, he had craft degrees that were basically the same thing as you would find in other places in Germany. Some of the other Masonic organizations or Grand Lodges were used for his inspiration in the way that he created his system. And then he did have some higher degrees, including a Scots Master degree, which we also have a connection to. But the organization had these strange traditions that, unlike other Masonic organizations, different kind of instructional papers and doctrines, things like this. And eventually, of course, his material became public. It was published, and he had to flee. It was outlawed by the Elector of Bavaria, and that was essentially the end of the Illuminati. So this thing existed a very short period, a decade, but it was quashed. And there were all sorts of people, legitimate Masons, who had a concern about this, to find out that there was a type of Freemasonry that was promoting these ideas, but it wasn't really the Freemasonry that was promoting them. Back then, it was a lot easier to start a Masonic organization than it is today. So you basically just needed some kind of sponsorship and enough members, and you might declare yourself a Grand Lodge. You might be recognized, maybe you're not, depending on who your friends are, and some of that still happens today. But so his group was a legitimate Masonic system in the craft degrees, at least, and many important people belonged to that. But like I said, it really kind of faded away, shriveled like a mushroom in the sunlight.
Now, there are people who attest that the Illuminati were the ones to first start using the term that gets hung on Masons, the New World Order and things of that nature. Truth to that? Not sure.
I don't know that they invented that. Those kind of ideas were certainly part of that time period.
Part of that Enlightenment period.
The Enlightenment, exactly. So I don't know that I'd hang that on Weishaupt.
But we also can't claim it exclusive to the Masonic fraternity.
No, not at all.
It's one of those things that was sort of in the zeitgeist, if you will.
That's right. Now, I did learn, I was in France recently, and...
Listen to him, I was in France.
that the expression which we tied to the French Revolution of equality, fraternity, and liberty, or liberty, equality, fraternity, some people say, oh, that's Masonic. Other people say, no, it's just this French idea. But that they actually do have French records, Masonic records in the Grand Orient of France, older than the French Revolution, that include that phrase. So, but again, that speaks to the time period in which they lived, because these ideas were really coming to bear fruit during that period.
Yeah, all of those things, they weren't necessarily a product of Freemasonry or of the Illuminati, but rather that larger, the Enlightenment era.
That's right.
That was sort of the thoughts and the ideas that were popular at the time, and organizations codified around those ideas. Freemasonry being one, Illuminati and / Freemasonry being another. So they weren't necessarily to say Masonic ideals, but the Masonic fraternity said, yeah, those are good. Let's keep those.
Absolutely. In fact, there's some argument among some scholars even that ask, is Freemasonry really a product of the Enlightenment, or is the Enlightenment a product of Freemasonry? I think there's a little bit of both of that going on there, because certainly some of the more important members of Freemasonry at the founding of the Grand Lodge were very much of this new mindset, very much interested, in science and rational thought. So they did what they could to promote those ideas within the fraternity. Some people, would say that we actually hijacked the old stonemasons fraternity, or what was left of that, and turned it into the modern society.
In terms of the Illuminati, I wonder, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this, and I'll ask it in this way. When Elvis Presley died, when John Lennon was killed, when Jimi Hendrix died, the saying is, they went from being aging rock stars to being legends. When the Illuminati died, did it go from being a failing secret society to becoming a legendary organization?
Definitely. I mean, how can you fight it at that point, really?
Did it survive into the 19th century? Did it survive past 1800?
Like many of these other kind of institutions, Knights Templar, Eleusinian Mysteries, whatever, people want to revive these because it's kind of romantic to have that kind of notion that you're connected to the past that way. So although I don't think that there are any genuine Illuminati groups connected historically to the Illuminati, in spite of the fact that they might say they were, it's more of a romantic notion. There might be groups out there that are using parts of the rituals, especially now, since Brother Joseph Wade has published his translation in his book, The Secret School of Wisdom, You can get all of the Illuminati secrets unveiled.
So, Illuminati and Freemasonry. Illuminati, let's say a quasi-Masonic organization in the late 1700s, maybe made it past that 1800 mark, but not too much further than that. And modern connections to it, purely romantic.
Yeah, there were other groups that tried to hold on to some of those notions, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, who's dead?
So there is the definitive answer on the Illuminati. And if you were hoping one day to join a secret society with the likes of Beyonce and Jay-Z and Lady Gaga and Steven Seagal and whoever else, well, I'm sorry to have to burst your bubble. It's just not a real thing anymore. I'm certain the comment section for this video is just going to be very entertaining. But if you're a Freemason, I would love it if you'd give us a shout out below, say hi from your lodge or valley, and try and do it before the crazy trolls start. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Maynard Edwards, 32nd degree, KCCH, Scottish Rite Freemason, and I'm just kidding. Thanks for watching.